Greetings, everyone. This is She Speaks Life with Laquisha Robinson. Thank you for joining me. Today, we're talking about control, you all. We're going to talk a little bit about why it occurs, why it grows up in us as adults, okay? If you are a person growing up and you may have been in a family unit where you don't feel like you were shown the love you should have been showed, you weren't cared for, you weren't protected, you weren't nurtured. If you did something your parents didn't like, they kind of pushed you off to the side and they pulled the other children to them and they made sure you knew that you had disobeyed them and the way that they treated you versus the way that they were treating the other children. Okay, what happens is when you're being treated like that as a child, and what the adult doesn't know is that starts to create inside of you feelings where you feel like my parents don't love me, or my mom doesn't love me, my dad doesn't love me, because if they did, how could they do this to me, or why would they do this to me no matter what I did? Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to find yourself growing up trying to do whatever it takes to please them, to make them happy, so that they'll treat you the way you want to be treated, and they won't act differently towards you than they act towards the other children, right? Also, if the family unit doesn't realize, hey, this isn't right how I'm treating my daughter, this isn't right how I'm doing my son, but they continue on with this treatment, when you are of age and when you do grow up, you're going to be looking for love, control, and power, and you'll do almost anything just to get it. And once you get it and once you're operating in it, you're not going to be cool with letting it go. Okay, that's why sometimes people who are in control, they mistreat people. They don't necessarily mean to mistreat them, but they give to them what was given to, they give to other people what was given to them. Okay, so it takes them to wake up consciously to say, wait a minute, this wasn't right, and what I'm doing to other people isn't right. Me controlling people, me acting like people, or feeling like people have to do it this way and that way just so they know I'm in control. Okay, that's not a good way to be. Okay, but you can only give to people what's been given to you. So if you start tracing back down the lines, you're going to realize where the root of it came from. Also, you could be in a situation or have been in a situation where you chose to open up and love somebody and they hurt you, right? You don't want to give up on love, but now you need to control love so that you know that what happened to you won't happen to you again. That's torturous for you and anybody that you may want to be with, okay? Especially if they're an outgoing person and they're not just gonna say they're not just gonna act like a robot with you. All right, so I want you all to know everything stems from a place. Okay, nobody just wakes up and wants to control the situation. Nobody wakes up and says, hey, it just has to be did my way. When you're growing up, if you're shown the correct love, given the proper nurturing, you're going to grow up as a confident and a sure kid. Okay, which is going to lead to you growing up being confident and sure of yourself as an adult. Okay, now these are just some things that I'm giving you all where control could have played a part or could have crept in, and now you're operating and you have to learn how to correct it. But there can be many other things and many other ways that control the door for control can be opened. Okay, if you are a parent, okay, because believe it or not, you have parents who will not allow their children to live how they want to live because they feel their children has to do what they want them to do. They have to go the way they want them to go. And if they do not honor their wishes, they'll shut down from them. Okay? They'll stay angry at them. They won't talk to them. I'm reminded of a story that I was told about how this daughter, she shared with me, when I would say something my mother didn't like, when I was just simply voicing my opinion, my mother would shut down for me. She wouldn't talk to me for years. Okay, so what is the mother trying to teach her daughter? If you don't submit to what I want you to do, say what I want you to say, which is being in agreement with me, if you're not feeling like I want you to feel, I have a way of punishing you. And it hurt the daughter because she loved her mom. She wanted to talk with her mom. She wanted to be able to call and say, "Hey, Mom," but she couldn't. She told me like she would go over to the house to visit the mom, her mom and her dad. The mom wouldn't say one single word to her. And she said, so I eventually learned to cope with it. Okay? And now she said it still hurt me the way she do me, but I've learned to cope with it. But one thing, I'm proud of her because she didn't fall under the trap of her mother, and it can be a father too. I'm just using an example of a mother. If you have a parent who will do hurtful things to you just because they want to control you and want you to do what they want you to do, that's unhealthy. And she did not choose to live a life to where she would do anything her mother wanted her to do or say or feel just so that her mother wouldn't use or wouldn't abuse her with her non-communication. Okay, that's a strong woman, that's a powerful woman who will stand up and say, if this is how you're going to choose to treat me, that's fine. I'm not going to treat other people that way, because ever since I've known her, she's never been that person to use an abusive tactic towards you, which in most cases, if you have been abused in a type of way, you use the same abuse that's been used on you with other people. Okay, so I was proud of her because she overcame that, and she didn't even allow it to consume her. Alright, so if you are a parent and you're controlling over your children and you feel like your children have to do exactly what you say or what you tell them or else, that's not right. And you need to do work and figure out why you feel like you have to control your children and their lives and what they do and what they say and how they feel. Okay? And why would you hurt something that you love just to teach them a lesson that's not even a lesson? If you're a parent and you do this to your children, you're not teaching them that you love them, you're teaching them punishment. And you're actually showing them that you don't know how to love, you only know how to hurt. Okay? Just because you're nice to somebody does not mean that when you carry out in a way such as this mother did, that she loves her daughter. Because if she loved her daughter the way she should, she would never treat her daughter the way she does. Okay, so I want you all to think about that. And also, I want to say this, okay, when you're in a relationship, you are not in a relationship with the mom or the dad and the person that you're dating. Whoever you're in a relationship with, that's who you are in a relationship with. So, for example, I'm going to make up some names. If Sarah and John are in a relationship, that's their relationship. Okay? You don't have the right as a parent to get involved in any type of way with the relationship of Sarah and John. Okay? And Sarah and John need to understand their relationship is their relationship. I just felt the need to throw that in there too, because I'm reminded of another real life situation where there was a couple and they were actually dating. However, the mother had so much control over the relationship until the son would tell the girl, well, you know, my mom, she da 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 this, and she, like, it was like, okay, are you having a relationship with your mom, or are you having a relationship with the female that you're actually supposed to be dating? Well, long story short, the dating process didn't lead to anything, and then an elder, told the female, this is a relationship that would have never worked, because the mother, she had such a grip and such a hold on her son, and she was so controlling over him till he did whatever she wanted him to do. So if you, not me, but just with the situation, if you would have chose to be with this man, you would have been marrying him and his mother, not just him. So just giving you an example, when your children are in a relationship, whether it be a man or whether it be a woman, as your child, let them have their relationship. And if your children try to put you in it, you let them know this is your relationship. Don't ask me to control your relationship, and I'm not going to volunteer to control your relationship. If you're controlling a relationship, you're not allowing your children to grow and build, okay? And I know a lot of parents who will break up a relationship because they feel like they're the alpha and nobody can come in between that. Okay, I know another story, and I won't mention names, but it's kind of a closer situation. But I know of a situation where a lady said, this lady said that I may be the person to help the relationship grow. She just don't know. I may be the person that break up the relationship. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, wow, that's kind of interesting. Now, this was the mother of the son who was dating the female, and to hear something like that, it was like a shock, like, wow, so you really saying that you might be the cause of why a relationship end instead of it growing and instead of it building and amounting to what God may want it to amount to. So that's just, I just threw that in there, y'all. And I'm ending this video, but I want you all to remember, if you are a person who controls things and feel like your hand has to be in everything, it doesn't. Live your life how you live it, and let other people live their lives how they live it. If you are a person who have been abused by a way, if you've been abused by way of control, where you feel like if I don't do what another person say, there's going to be consequences. If you're actually the person who's doing the controlling, I want you to go inside and feel like, what void do you have to make you feel like, in order for you to feel like you're somebody, you have to control people, places, and things, okay? And for the children, and I'm going to end with this, allow your children to be who they want to be. Allow their gifts to come forth. They may not do things like you do. They may not feel about things like you feel. Don't demand and command them to do it how you say do it, or do it the way you want it did. Allow their gifts to come forth, because I promise you, because you're connected to them, there's going to be a blessing, and you allowing them to come forth in their gifts. Sometimes I feel like people make parenting harder than what it is. The reason why it's hard is because you're controlling, and you want to control how everything goes because you feel like you've done this 6 times. So I know how I'm supposed to raise a child. But when you take away a child's right to be who they are, and you control them, and you may even discipline or punish them if they do something aside from what you say, and it does not, and they don't feel it's empowering to them, you're stopping their growth. Now, I'm not saying if your child is outright doing something that's disrespectful to other humankind to just let it ride and say, oh, my child is expressing who they are. But on a realistical level, how as an adult, can you think of how much better your life would have been, or how much you wouldn't have to be growing and developing even in the age that you are now, and learning who you were, had your parents just allowed you to express who you were and live out your life according to who you were? Right now, a lot of the things we're dealing with, it comes from our past, from our childhood, from us growing up, because our parents told us what to do, how to do it, if we don't do this, if we don't do that. So I want to encourage you all, allow your children to be free. You never know the gifts that's going to manifest through them and from them. And like I said before, you're going to be blessed. So I'm ending this video, but let go of control, you all, because it doesn't profit and it hurts. It don't just hurt you if you're the controller, but it hurts the people that you're controlling. And if we're living, growing, and prospering and moving and motivating forward, we will not be able to do that successfully having control over other people, because we can become so controlled that we stop ourselves from having what we're supposed to have. So control is a sickness. Okay, I'm going to end this video. You all consider everything that I'm saying. Think on it, ponder on it, let it register, let it motivate you to give up control. Go within yourself, ask yourself, why are you the way you are? Why do you feel the need to control? Because the answer gonna come. Then be healed from it. Understand what was done unto you, why it was done, why it had to occur, and be healed. Okay, so I love you all. Thank you for watching my channel, and until we meet again, remember to operate in love, peace, and joy.